May the 4th be with you, and today we will be taking a look at Darth Vader's VA claims as he did serve for the Galactic Empire. Now, tons of veterans do suffer from mental health disabilities, so that's what we will be covering, and I'll be speaking on what 70% could actually look like in our day-to-day lives. Now, we will use some humor to make this discussion a bit easier to take in, as this can be some very serious stuff. Now, Darth Vader more than likely suffers from combat-related PTSD and other mental health disabilities. He fought as Anakin through the Clone Wars in many battles. He murdered children during Order 66 and has spread hate and discontent through the galaxy for the Galactic Empire, meaning he has the in-service events and the evidence from service to establish the Nexus, which is absolutely required. One of Vader's clear symptoms is the inability to maintain effective relationships with his children. Now, this is something very near and dear to me, as I have 4 kids myself, and veterans that struggle to connect with their children on the emotional level and provide that emotional support definitely starts to fall into that 70% category. The current way mental health is rated is you will see a ton of overlap between 50 and 70%, but maintaining effective relationships, especially with loved ones like your children or your partner, is one of the symptoms that really makes the push to 70% from 50. Now, for those wondering about the proposed changes to mental health, I've already done a video on that in detail, and I will leave that in a pinned comment so you can check that out. Another symptom that Darth Vader clearly shows is irritability. Now, his is a bit on the extreme side of the house with, using the Force and killing people and choking people and stuff like that. But veterans that suffer from mental health disabilities are generally irritable. Go figure, right? This can look anything from raising your voice and getting mad for no reason, especially to children and your partner, to be physical and breaking things in your house, like breaking doors, breaking, lamps, putting holes in walls when you are angry. And on the more severe side of the house, physically hurting someone because you are easily angry or easily irritable is definitely what 70% could look like. And I want you to think of what like domestic violence would look like, and you'd pretty much get the picture. Now, I'm not saying that all veterans in 70% have these symptoms or have all of these. I'm just saying these are what some of these could look like, and we're using Darth Vader as the example. So yeah, Darth Vader's a bit irritable, right? Another symptom that really leaned towards the 70% scale is suicidal ideation. In fact, we see Darth Vader make the ultimate sacrifice to save Luke, but not to get too nerdy here, okay? Suicidal ideation is a very serious symptom of mental health that a lot of veterans, especially GWAT, now deal with. Now, suicidal ideation doesn't necessarily mean that you have an entire plan laid out and that's all you think about all day, every day, but it could. And if that is you, if any of these are you, I plead with you to seek healthcare. Healthcare is always first, okay? But suicidal ideation can also be encroaching thoughts every now and then, feeling like the world would be a better place without you in it, or feeling like those around you would be better off if you were not there. All those rate that suicidal ideation line. Another symptom I'd like to hit on are panic attacks and depressive episodes. And these are just what it could look like. There are many more, but a panic attack can be anything from your entire chest cavity moving because you're freaking out and you're having a very serious panic attack. It's hard to breathe. You're sweating. You're very tense, okay? It could also look like you pulling up to work for a certain event, like a brief, whatever's going on, and you stay in your car and you start to breathe heavy and you don't want to face the day. Both of those are panic attacks. Yes, one is more severe than the other, but no doubt they are both panic attacks. The VA will really be looking at the frequency of your panic attacks, like how often they occur and what your symptoms are during your panic attacks. It's your job as a veteran to articulate your symptoms to your healthcare provider, because we like evidence and we like healthcare, and to the CMP examiner. Now, depressive episodes could look something like this, okay? You have so much to do, but you feel so depressed and you're almost melting in your couch because you're laying down and nothing gets done, but nothing gets done, so there's more stuff to do, but you're depressed, so you don't do it, and you kind of find yourself in this like self-looking ice cream cone of your depression really prevents you from just doing day-to-day functions, which makes you more depressed. And you could see how that would be a cycle that a lot of people in general, specifically veterans, cannot get out of. And it can come and go. It could be constant. It can also come and go. Okay. Now, what I just described is one scenario. There are many, many other scenarios and symptoms within and outside of what I'm talking about. These are just the ones that I see in Darth Vader. Okay. Come to think of it, Darth Vader would certainly be service connected for other conditions outside of mental health, like a respiratory condition, the type stuff. He definitely rates a special monthly compensation, as he did lose his arm and both legs. He definitely has some serious scarring going on from the burns that Obi-Wan put on him. And Darth Vader ain't really doing too hot. He's probably going to be rated on the SMCT level and taking about 11 grand per month tax free. Now, before we go, I do want to show you the scale for 70% mental health. And what we're going to do is look at mental health, 38 CFR, ECFR. Make sure you choose the ECFR link, and you will find how mental health is rated. Now, I say mental health because all of these from 9201 all the way down rate mental health, right? So PTSD, depression, anxiety, it's all the same. For VA rating purposes, they are all the same. This is the hodgepodge of what mental health symptoms look like at 70%. You can kind of see how they're just like thrown up there. There's not really any order. There's just a lot of chaos going on from 0 all the way to 100. All right. Now I'm going to highlight the ones that we did talk about. So family relationships. All right. The inability to establish and maintain effective relationships. You'll find those in 70%. We have suicidal ideation here. All right. And then we have irritability somewhere in this mass hodgepodge. Looking at how mental health is proposed to be rated, it's definitely more objective. I would argue that the way the VA rates mental health right now is very subjective, but this is how the VA rates mental health. And yes, I will link this down below in the pinned comments. But again, you can just Google it using, that condition, in this case, mental health, 38 CFR E CFR. And happy May 4th.